MCU skins in Marvel's Avengers is seriously one of those things that draws so many people back in, and it's what's keeping a lot of people sane. If MCU skins are important to you in this game, go ahead and drop a like on this video right now, and we have some good news. So literally a matter of like 10 minutes or so as I'm recording this video right now, they have officially announced a brand new MCU skin for Hawkeye. You can see it in the background. It said, "Things have gotten complicated." Inspired by the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Marvel Studios Hawkeye outfit features Clint confronting enemies from his past, and then they go on to talking about how it's available on December 23rd and how you can stream Marvel's Avengers Hawkeye on, of course, Disney Plus now. But we're going to talk serious about this game. Now, before I dive into that, we're going to call sponsor, so let's roll the ad and then we'll continue into the video. Today's video is sponsored by G-Round. Now, G-Round is a global gaming community platform discovering unreleased outstanding games in all gaming genres. Now, what's cool about this is you get new games that are updated every single Thursday. You get to play 2 free games every single week and leave your honest reviews. Even better, you can actually talk to game developers and provide constructive feedback, but then as a result of that, you get something called G-Points. Now, G-Points are the primary currency that you can earn from G-Round by simply writing reviews and just giving feedback to the game developers. Now then you can go ahead and use G-Points to buy amazing gear from the G-Points store, as you'll see in the background. It honestly is such a cool platform. I really recommend you guys go ahead and check it out. Check the link in the description, download, play, have fun, and help game developers through G-Round right now to make better games. Check the link in the description below. Okay, so besides this MCU skin, which by the way, a lot of people are saying Christmas has come early because there are so many people that have seriously been waiting for this, and it kind of backs up my point that I said at the start of the video, where MCU skin seriously, at least for me anyway, speaking on my own behalf, I can say is one of those things that just makes me boot the game back up again. I, as many of you guys know, have now found myself in that situation once again, where the game is just collecting dust because I don't really have any more reasons to jump back in the game until we get new content. And for the most part, when we get more MCU skins for Spider-Man, which was a huge debate by the way recently, considering there was a lot that people were expecting to get and they didn't get, then sure, I'm going to jump back in the game. But like I said at the start of the video, MCU skins keep people sane for this game is really what is working at this given time. I can't think of anything else that draws you back into the game, but that does not mean I still have hope for this game. Okay, like as bizarre as it sounds, we have found ourselves, and when I say we, I am sure I'm speaking for every single one of us, right? We know the situation the game is in, and we know it's crumbling, but look, let's be honest, we still kind of like it. You still will boot it out from time to time and play it, right? But as far as this game goes in terms of pulling a miracle in terms of new content in the game, or something that's really going to get so many players back in, at this moment in time, not even I have any more ideas. I mean, the ideas that I have are just completely way off, so there's no point even mentioning the ideas. But besides my ideas and, you know, that realistic line on what can happen, look, let's be honest, we're kind of in that predicament now where you can kind of say the game has had its time. Now, I would love to be proven wrong, but unfortunately, that's just how I feel as a consumer. But look, I'm tired of talking about that stuff because, like I said, I'm still a fan of the game, I'm still part of the community, so look, I will still support it when things make sense, and I will still pick out the things when it doesn't make sense. But I don't want to ramble about that stuff anymore. So let's talk about the important stuff, because in my community tab about 10 or 12 days ago, I asked you guys in relation to Fortnite and whether or not you thought they actually done a better job with Spider-Man. And it was crazy because out of 13,000 votes on that, there was, I think it was 14,000 votes. 71% of you guys said yes, Fortnite done a better job at Spider-Man's character in their game. Now that's bizarre, right? Because look, Fortnite is really that pinnacle game in the entire industry right now that is seriously proving something which we kind of know what they have proven, right? But that game has just gone to a completely different level. The way they implement characters in, the way they execute on those characters, look, let's be honest, considering the time frame, they don't do a bad job, right? Like, I don't play Fortnite consistently enough, let alone even hardly enough, right? But when you see gameplay of Spider-Man, sure, there are definitely things that could be tweaked, but the fact that it's just a quick character drop, they do actually do a pretty good job, right? Now, let's put that stuff aside, because that's just one question I asked you guys. Now, the other day, I asked you guys, look, do we need more open world superhero games? Now, sure, there has always been a big debate that no, look, it's going to be incredibly overrated. We got Spider-Man's IP, that's kind of good enough. I just want to kind of stick down that road. I want Insomniac Games to deal with all that stuff, etc., etc. But out of 13,000 votes, 95% of you said, yes, we do need more open world superhero games. And it got me thinking, now that we have Marvel's Avengers, you have to be realistic and say, look, the chances of us getting another Marvel's Avengers game is very, very, very unlikely until at least another 8 to 10 years. Let's be honest, like, that's a real thing. You got to take licensing into consideration. The last people who actually built a Marvel's Avengers game, in this case, of course, Crystal Dynamics, Square Enix being the publishers. Did it work well? Did it not? Who's going to want to step up and try and recreate that and hope for the best? Like, there is definitely a possibility there. Like, I've always said, an open world Marvel's Avengers game honestly would do very well if it has been done by the correct team. And by the correct team, I mean making a game that has longevity. We know live service games are incredibly hard to sustain, and once again, Marvel's Avengers does just prove that theory even more. So let's put that aside. So we know we're not getting another Marvel's Avengers game for at least another decade. Let's just say that was the case. Games we do genuinely have to look forward to, however, are games that Insomniac Games are developing. Now, let's just use Wolverine as an example. Like, that's a game that we genuinely have no idea on whether it is going to be open world or if there's going to be any sort of open world aspect to it. But what we do know is Insomniac Games, as far as Spider-Man goes, they've done a great job. So we're just going to assume even if Wolverine was not an open world game, which actually I think they did confirm it's not, maybe. So let's just take into account it's not, and it's a single player game, it's all story based. Look, let's be honest, they are probably going to do a really good job. So then it further proves the point on, okay, well, do we still need open world video games regarding superheroes, or do we literally just need superhero video games that are well executed, right? That's that big question, and that's where I just wanted to talk about the whole subject, because we're all fans and want superhero games. Like, that's what we're fans of. And Marvel's Avengers was seriously that game that could have really taken this genre to a completely different level. Like, it could have really made that stamp in the industry to say, look, this is how you do a live service game. But again, look, I don't know live service games that do genuinely do well from the get-go without tons of updates and tons of fails, etc., which is normal, I guess. But for the most part, I don't know of any live service games that do have an incredibly smooth sail right from the get-go. So what am I trying to get at here? Well, the point that I'm trying to get out is, although all of us, because I've seen a lot of negative comments, right? Although we all still want Marvel's Avengers to succeed, I think it is definitely a good time to kind of begin letting go and look forward to other open world games that could potentially come up, but also Insomniac superhero games, and just trying to look forward to that rather than just be disappointed on how Marvel's Avengers has basically become, right? I mean, that's the situation that we're in, because I can't stress the amount of comments that I see on a daily basis of people complaining. Like I said, let's full circle back. The game is crumbling. As much as I hate to say it, the game is crumbling, you can't deny it, but I am still a fan of it. I will indeed go ahead and boot up the game, and will look forward to more DLC content drops, because I am going to go ahead and play the game when that does happen. Like, I'm not going to lie, I will do that, right? However, kind of keeping my eggs in one basket now and saying, well, I really hope Marvel's Avengers does well, and I really hope they do X, Y, and Z, and I really still want to go ahead and give ideas. You kind of feel that, well, you know, realistically, you can give ideas, and sure, the ideas can be great, but even the devs can think it's great, and then, hey-ho, it's like, okay, we can't actually do that idea. Like, it doesn't get more simple than that, because that's what happened. So That's the point of this, right? So what we do know and what we can conclude from this video is that yes, we do have a brand new MCU skin for Marvel's Avengers Hawkeye. MCU skins are the only thing keeping people sane in this game. Spider-Man's DLC was good, but only for that time being. New characters that we could potentially see next year will still get people excited, but them doing something really big in the game to just draw so many players in, I don't even know what that would be. Point number, what are we on, 4 or 5? I think it might be 5. I've lost count, right? But the next point is comparing it to games like Fortnite. You can't technically do, sure, you can compare the characters, but for the most part, can you really compare a game dedicated to a superhero versus just a DLC drop? Yes and no, I'll let you guys decide on that. And then last but not least, let's just now look forward to other superhero games that are being developed by other game studios, Insomniac Games as a good example. But then also another thing that I do want to add on to here, we've been seeing a lot of fan-made open world superhero games, right? So that's something we should also take into account, because guess what, if you can find a really cool superhero game that has been fan-made and has potential, then I think supporting, you know, game developers like that as well would be a really good thing. But guys, that's going to wrap up this video here, so I'll see you in the next one. Till then, have yourselves a ridiculously amazing day, and adios amigos.